Hallo alle. Today I'm going to give you time in class to start working on your letters that I'd like you to write. And the goal of that is to practice imperfect. I'm going to give you each a composition book to use as your journal for the year. We will be writing several different compositions in this book throughout the year, perhaps every 6 weeks or so that to the end of the year you'll have between 6 and 8 different things that you've written. The first is this letter, and the topic is to describe yourself or a trip about your summer vacation. And if you haven't had any, then I would suggest that you invent one. All right? So here is the checklist of things that you need to include in your letter. When you begin a letter, the first thing you do is say hello and send your greetings from wherever you're vacationing. That will be a part of everybody's letter. Secondly, I'd like to have you include a little bit about yourself. Okay, answer some basic questions that you would write in German 1. This is current information, so it'll be written in present tense. If you're meeting somebody for the first time or you'd like to get to know them, you might ask if they also like to travel or what they did in their last summer vacation before you start to go off and explain about yours. The main body of your letter will be this paragraph here. You will write about 10 to 12 sentences about how you spent your last vacation, or you will describe a trip you took. Keep in mind, I'd like to see a variety of verbs because I'm giving you 10 points for 10 sentences. That means if you can write more than that, but you don't need to, but I'd like to see at least 10 different verbs. In the imperfect, keep in mind there are 2 different kinds of imperfect, one with regular and irregular endings, and the best way to know that is to get out your irregular verb chart and make sure that the verb doesn't show up there, then you know it's a regular verb. When your main body is written, ask, I'd like you to respond to this question. How did you like it and what amazed you on your vacation? And that also, if you notice, is written in imperfect. In the next section F, you're going to describe how the weather was on your vacation. About 4 sentences will do. Your 4 sentences about the weather could also be distributed throughout your paragraph. For example, up here in this section, you could include a sentence or 2 about the weather. But since it's in the past tense, it should be written in imperfect. Right? Then you're going to switch tenses, and you're going to use the future tense to describe where you would like to go the next time you take a trip. And you can use phrases like next time, next summer, sometime, okay, next year. And perhaps answer the question, what it's supposed to be like where you'd like to travel to because you haven't yet been, but what have you heard about it? And then you will have a final greeting and sign your name. All right. The final greeting examples are right here. In a German letter, you can usually say many greetings, or you can say with friendly greetings, but just pick one. When you write in your composition book, I'd like you to write every other line. That will give me room to make comments and directions. All right. This first version, we're going to write a rough draft, will be worth 10 points, and I'm going to have you turn it in to me on Wednesday. That means you have time today in class. That means you 2 nights to work on it and then give it to me on Wednesday. You will likely have to use Pons to look up new words. And what I'd like you to do is, you don't have the back of this copied on your sheet, but you could list at the end of your letter the words that you looked up in Pons, and then likewise the definition that the English dictionary or the Pons dictionary gave you. And that will help me figure out if something's not correct, what you were trying to say. Okay, so make a list of new words. That's always important. Some tips: try not to use more than about 3 to 5 new words in your composition, because it doesn't sound like you after a while, and then it gets to be a little bit too complicated, and you end up making a lot of mistakes. And then these editor marks, we will talk about that when you get your compositions back, what kind of editing I will do. All right? So you have the rest of the class to work. This is an independent project. It's not group work because your writing is your own. So good luck, and if you have any questions, message me in Schoology. Hope to be back as soon as I can. Ciao.